So, raise your hand if you know the name of the country at the red pin is. Great, not many people. So today I'm standing on this stage in the center of Tokyo, one of the busiest cities in the world. But normally, I wake up here, one of the quietest country in the world, in Seychelles. People ask me, what do you do there? Then I tell them, I just live there. And then, of course, they ask, what do you do? Again, but that's not the right question. And then they start asking me, how do you do that? I just moved there. And again, that's not the right question. So normally, people think I've already retired being there, which is pretty much like generous interpretation of my life. But actually, what I do there is hundreds of cross-border mergers and acquisitions. I also connect governments to the capitals across Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and of course the US. So, what's the right question? It's why I can do this. It's because I know why I can do it clearly enough. I know why I can do it by slowing down to ask myself the right question. I found it at the space I created by slowing down. As you can tell, I am a very slow talker, and my life itself started behind the schedule. I was so slow, so silent, that everybody around me was so worried. But that little girl was not just sitting in silence, but the girl was looking for her own why. After 20 years, my first boss in the mergers and acquisitions industry asked me, what's your weakness? And then I candidly answered, my weakness is obviously my slowness. But that boss told me that something that I haven't realized. He told me that your slowness is actually your strength's weapon. How is that? So in Japanese culture, to become a great business person, you're taught that you have to get in the other person's futokoro, which is the heart. But what I was doing is completely opposite. My boss told me that when you slow down, you create a space, and then somehow the other person just get into your space, and then you're welcoming the other person into your space and starting questioning by themselves. So slowness is not a weakness, but that became a weapon. And then after being in that industry, the fast moving mergers and acquisitions industry for 20 years, I realized that the most innovational leaders are using the same weapon deliberately. So today, I want to show you how they're using it. And the best part is this is not that how you are born like me. If you're a fast talker, your brain works really fast, you can do this. You can use it as your weapon. So I once worked for Mr. Masayoshi Son, who is the legendary founder of SoftBank Group. His slow speaking is not because of his age. He was speaking like that for decades. and he's doing it with his strategy. He's not alone. Martin Luther King Jr., Barack Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Jobs, you name it. All those great leaders has the same strategy. They actually speak at space of 100 words in a minute. And the average person, 150. So those great leaders speak 30% slower than others. Why they can do that? The psychologist Brian Cannot showed that fact. Those greatest leaders can use this strategy because they know why they're doing that. And they slow down. They can take their own pace. And then humans are wired to perceive those who can take their own pace, slow down, think about the why, as having higher authority and the trust. Now, what was happening? I was actually using the weapon. You start asking a question. Fill the space by yourself. Is she forgetting about what she's talking? Or am I learning something from that? Or maybe even, what's the dinner for tonight? I heard that quite a few people are getting hungry. So thank you very much for being here now. But that is the power of the space that you can create by slowing down. And those questions is for yourself, for your own. Even Elon Musk, maybe not one of them, but the fastest moving person in this era, confirmed that while AI can give you any kind of answers, the real challenge is knowing the question, the right question. I have a great example from my clients. When you know the right question, the reality gets changed. First one is from Israel. So Israeli military built a sensor to find the enemies in the battlefield. And one of my clients getting slowed down to think about how we can use this great technology for the humans. And then now, the same sensor is using for visualizing Japanese aging infrastructure underground to protect the next generation cities. So battlefield to rebuilding. Also, in the Seychelles, we have special technology, 3D structural technology that is saving bleaching coral reef. Now, this is using for regrowing our bones. So, bleaching coral reef to living body. So this is the power for you to slowing down, to think about the reason why we are creating this innovation and for what we are using it. So today, lots of brilliant minds were sharing the thought of intergenerational innovation. I believe that each one of you have that why inside of yourself. So tonight, before you go to bed, I would like you to ask one question for yourself. And also, no phone in the bed. So the question is, what would you enjoy the most in your precious life? That is why you're building the innovation for. Also, I would like you to ask your AI one question. So this is the answer from my AI. Beautiful nature with technology and thriving communities in the fabric of life. What did I ask? So if everyone in the world uses AI as I do, what would the Earth look like in 100 years? Give me an image. So the little girl sitting in the silence was not behind the schedule. She was looking for her own why. And the why brought me here today. I believe that each one of us slow down enough to think about why. The innovation we create will be truly for humanities. So let's create that future together. Start from tonight. Thank you very much.